Read more from Saigyo with another book, The Awesome Nightfall. Seems we've read Saigyo like 4 times already. One with a PDF, another PDF, and then Burton Watson, and then this one. Now this guy, he says that Burton Watson gives a good translation, but then Burton Watson says this guy has a good introduction, so these guys must like each other. So we have an actual book, not a PDF. There we are. And this painting is from the Museum of Modern Art, Tokyo. Let's see what's the... I'm probably going to read a little preface. Life and Times of Saigyo. Free and easy wandering designates an appealing way of life, according to Zhuangzi, but it is in fact a path that few have entered either freely or easily. Saigyo's life was too difficult to be so designated, even though it included several extended journeys. After he died, his contemporaries praised him for having shown that the life of a Buddhist monk can be fully compatible with a dedication to writing poetry. Proving this, however, involved a lifelong, often painful struggle. The real Saigyo was not quite as reclusive as later portraits made him out to be. He lived in horrific times and could not easily tear his attention away from what was going on. And he obviously struggled with internal demons related to sex, to worries about the karmic imprint of his warrior past, to anxiety about loss of social visibility, to taking the tonsure and certain items he successfully kept concealed from all later generations. Pithy phrases that fused the way of poetry with the way of Buddha were common in 12th century Japan and had a certain cachet. But Saigyo realized that to test their validity required putting the whole of a life into the experiment, with an outcome far from certain, and he knew it had to be a life intentionally disconnected from the lives of contemporaries, friends, and even lovers. That is, persons who, even though themselves poets, were not engaged in precisely this experiment. We're going to go on to the poetry. There's a map of Japan with the places he goes. It says here, Basho, Japan's best-known poet, explicitly named Saigyo, who lived 4 centuries earlier, as the poet of the past to whom he was most indebted. And I'm going to read some poems from the Life and Times. It says, this poem was written near the end of his life. Saigyo appears to bring forth memory of his, that is, Narakiyo's childhood, of an early fascination with aspects of the warrior life. He says, toy, bamboo bow in hand. A mere child takes aim at a sparrow and already longs to wear a warrior's headgear. Here it says the level of Etruscan skill required was high, and importantly, he wrote precisely about this horsemanship in what is probably his earliest extant poem. Toy bamboo bow in hand, a mere child takes aim at a sparrow, and already longs to wear a warrior's headgear. Remember, he started out training as like a samurai guy.
He was a child.
He's a child, yeah, but remember he started training. He was trained with the samurais and stuff in the court stuff before he left all that. And here he's a child dreaming of becoming a warrior. And he's taking aim at the sparrow.
That's what you do. That's nice. You can imagine.
Now he says that the horseman, one of his early poems about being a horseman, says, taking off from Fushimi, galloping non-stop over Okanoya hills, I spur him on to Ino to test what this young horse can do. I think he was riding a horse at this point. He probably had started to ride a horse. Age. To spur on a horse, that's a natural thing to do. I've done that. It's interesting to ride a horse fast. Quite an interesting experience. It's nothing like you'll get from a car or motorcycle. It's to go fast by natural means. Think how you can do that. It doesn't. It has no meaning with a car or a motorcycle. It has meaning with a horse.
Because you become one body and you feel all that.
The physical body of a horse is beneath you.
Motion. It's wind around you.
Here, while he presents a large number of chrysanthemums as a gift to the retired Emperor Toba. He says, chrysanthemums fill the garden where the days are passed by your majesty. So Grotto of the Holy Sage, the place name fits very well. He worked at the court, so he has some attachment to this emperor thing, and of course there was political change, and he's out in the woods hiding. There's a war going on. Who knows? I don't go into the history. He addressed a leave-taking poem to the retired emperor himself. Here he writes, so loath to lose what may be should be loathed. One's place in the world, one may be rescue best the self by simply throwing it away. Interesting poem. He says, so loath to lose what maybe should be loathed.
What do you mean loathed?
So loath to lose. So hesitant, so resistant to lose what maybe should be loathed, disliked. One's place in the world. One may be rescued best the self by simply throwing it away. He's saying you save yourself, that he who loses himself saves himself. You lose yourself.
That's in the Bible.
Yeah, you must lose yourself to find yourself. That's a Zen Buddhist thing. That's a good poem, I would say.
What it means the last word?
Loathe. Dislike. Loathe, to hate. So hateful. So.
Hateful to lose what is hateful.
So. It's not hate, it's dislike. So
difficult to lose.
I don't know. Loathe. What's to loathe? That's an English word. He says, Oshimu todui, oshimarennu tipiko, kono yokawa. He didn't say loathe. He said Japanese. He says that someone of undisclosed gender had been part of the decision. Here he says, Just as Saigyo later wrote very informative poems when he thought the reader deserved to know certain things, there were other times, sometimes when a curiosity had been keen, he provided nothing in detail. I don't know what he's saying here, but here's a poem. What turned me to wanting to break from the world-bound life? Maybe the one whose love turned to loathing and who now joins me in a different joy. This poem is, we have encountered so many Saigyo poems. That's one where he turned from the world because he was rejected. His girlfriend.
That's again the same verb she's using, Lord.
No. Now, what turned me to wanting to break from the world-bound life? Maybe the one whose love turned to loathing.
So what's that?
Hate.
Turned the same word.
Turned to disliking me, or she rejected him.
Is it the same word that
Oh, God. Why don't we get a dictionary, okay? I can't find words.
Is it the same word?
My brain doesn't work. Turned to loathing? Yeah. We had counted the poem before that she had turned to...
Use the same word.
Hate. Maybe the one whose love turned to hate. Maybe, I don't know if she hated him, but she turned to disliking. And who now joins me in a different joy? Now joins me. He had a girlfriend, and she was a high court official. Something happened, and what happened? Disappointment in love, okay? I didn't investigate his love affair.
No, I didn't ask for that. I said the word, the last word, Lord, is the same word that used of the previous word.
Yeah.
Okay, because we have difficulty understanding that.
Loathe. Well, you must loathe something. Maybe you loathe eating meat, or maybe you loathe, do you loathe, what do you loathe? Stupid people. You loathe cold weather? I don't know. Maybe that ain't the right word. Anyways, we're trying to read poetry of Saigyo. Here he says, having made my escape from a worldly way of life, I was in the interior of Kurama at a bamboo conduit, the water of which was frozen and not flowing. Hearing from someone that this would be the state of affairs until the arrival of spring, I wrote this poem. He writes, it was bound to be my vow to be unattached to seasons and such. I who by a frozen bamboo pipe now wait for water, long for spring. Saigyo occasionally expresses his desire to leave behind the accumulated bad karma of his family's long warrior tradition. He's worried about his karma. He's from a warrior tradition. This theme becomes ever more pronounced as his life moves along. And since something of this motive probably entered into his decision to become a monk, in the first place, it would naturally have seemed meaningless for him to try to find peace while living within a temple rank with interior competition out to topple its rivals by physical force. One of his poems appears to express precisely such an awareness. He says, Sute tarido, he says, to think you've thrown the world away and then still live unhidden is to be like any other worldling, still dwelling in the world of men. To think you've thrown the world away and then still live unhidden is to be like any other worldling, still dwelling in the world of men. We're reading from Saigyo's, or from Awesome Nightfall by William, by William LaFleur.